They call you cold, distant, detached, hard to read. But what if they're wrong? What if the truth is the opposite of what they see? You don't overflow with noise. You don't perform affection just to look warm. You don't trade in surface-level gestures that mean nothing the moment they end. And so they misjudge you. Nietzsche once said, "Silence is worse. All truths that are kept silent become poisonous." But your silence isn't poison. It's honesty. It's a refusal to waste words that don't carry meaning. Carl Jung would call it individuation. Peeling away the persona that pleases the crowd to find your real self. You don't care less. You care differently. And the paradox is this. The people who seem cold often feel the deepest. Imagine this, a crowded party, laughter echoing, drinks being raised. You stand on the periphery, observing, maybe sipping your drink, lost in thought. Some approach you, drawn to your quiet intensity. Others avoid you, sensing a chill they can't quite decipher. Your silence isn't empty. It's full of untold stories, deep thoughts, quiet dreams. But most don't see this. They mistake your stillness for coldness. They judge you by a standard that values loudness over depth, performance over presence. But here's the danger. When people label you as cold, you start to believe it. You begin to wonder if something is broken inside you. You start forcing smiles, forcing conversations, forcing yourself into a shape that doesn't fit. Every false "I'm fine" adds another crack. Every fake laugh drains you. Every time you betray your natural rhythm, you lose a piece of yourself. Society teaches that love is loud, that warmth is constant display. But that's a lie. Real care isn't always noisy. Sometimes it's quiet presence, sometimes it's listening without interruption, sometimes it's walking beside someone without needing to fill the silence. If you don't recognize this truth, you risk abandoning yourself just to look acceptable. And nothing is colder than living as a mask. Look around and you'll see the same pattern. The friend who confuses constant texting with loyalty. The colleague who mistakes charm for trust. The partner who equates big shows of affection with depth. They measure care by performance, by how much you give on the surface, by how much you can entertain, flatter, or reassure. But you've always felt the hollowness of this. You notice how words are thrown around too easily. I love you. I miss you. I'll always be there. They sound warm but often mean little. You're not impressed by volume. You're drawn to substance, a glance that carries truth, a word that is earned, a presence that doesn't vanish when it's inconvenient. The world might call you cold for not playing along, but really you're refusing to confuse noise with love. And that is not absence, that is integrity. But here's the hidden weight. Deep down, their judgment stings. You start asking yourself, why can't I be more like them? Why can't I laugh louder, hug longer, talk endlessly? The fear whispers, maybe you're flawed, maybe you're unlovable, maybe you don't feel enough. Jung would call this the shadow, the rejected part of yourself that you try to deny. You hide it by forcing what isn't natural. You play along, even when you're exhausted. But the cost is heavy. You become resentful, you feel unseen. You're surrounded yet lonelier than ever, because no one recognizes the real you, only the performance. And here's the paradox. The more you betray yourself to look warm, the colder you actually feel. Not because you don't care, but because you've buried the only care that's real, your own. So how do you change this? First, reclaim your rhythm. Stop apologizing for quiet. Stop forcing noise. Stillness can be just as powerful as speech. Second, express care in your way. Maybe it's remembering small details. Maybe it's showing up when it matters most. Maybe it's giving space when someone needs to breathe. This is not less love. It's deeper love. Third, communicate honestly. Tell the people close to you. I may not always show it loudly, but I feel deeply. The ones who understand will lean closer. The ones who don't were never really yours. Nietzsche might call this the courage to walk your own path. Jung would call it individuation, stepping into your truth without apology. And here's the shift. When you respect the way you love, others start to see it too. Your quiet becomes presence. Your restraint becomes strength. Your care becomes undeniable. So no, you're not cold. You just care differently. You don't waste affection on performance. You don't scatter yourself to please the crowd. Your love is quieter, rarer, sharper, and that makes it stronger. The world may misunderstand at first, but those who matter will recognize it. They'll feel the weight of your silence, the truth in your presence, the honesty in your restraint. Never doubt it, because in the end, the deepest care isn't loud, it's real.